Hey, hey. All right. What is Virgo's message right now? What does Virgo need to see or know right now? Six of Wands, Seven of Pentacles. Virgo should feel much more confident, and this should be the way they start to approach whatever comes next in these next 7 days in particular. Now, there could also be someone about to approach Virgo that could have a certain amount of confidence. It could be a masculine, but Virgo too should have a personal sense of power. There is a communication, there is a conversation coming between Virgo and someone, and I feel like these two are going to be on equal footing. It could be with a King of Wands, and this could be flirtation. This could be somebody that is new in Virgo's world. They feel very empowered, even though at the same time they have recently freed themselves from something. This could be a person who is attracted to Virgo or someone who is full blown in love with Virgo, but this is like a heartfelt individual. This is somebody who he does not have complications, whomever he is. Virgo meets him or talks to him at a point in time in this next week. So this is for like the next upcoming 7 days. There is somebody going to enter into Virgo's world, and they meet Virgo at a time when they're having a new beginning. What does this mean for Virgo? King of Swords. It could be a new beginning for Virgo as well, and Virgo might be talking to this person, and they're either comparing this person to someone of their own past. Oh, that's definitely it. Okay, I don't even need to say or. This will be somebody that Virgo gets to look right at and says, wow, maybe I've been thinking about a King of Swords, but frankly, I didn't know that a King of Wands was going to be somebody that I would meet, and this changes things. This individual, because I keep feeling like this is Virgo's energy as well as the energy coming toward Virgo. This could be a life-altering conversation for Virgo, and it could be because Virgo meets someone, has a dialogue with them, and it's like, I didn't know you existed. All this time, I maybe had a King of Swords on my mind, and now meeting you has changed my perception. Look, I'm not saying Virgo's like, well, I was dating this one dude, but man, you're hotter. I'm not saying it like that. But it definitely makes Virgo think about a King of Wands all of a sudden. Tell me a little bit more. Who was the King of Swords to Virgo? King of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Somebody that Virgo kept like wanting to suddenly come in and choose to be their person. So I'm going to say Virgo was holding space for one fine day when a King of Swords would suddenly become their King of Pentacles. That could have been maybe Virgo was in a fantasy of, there's this one person I'm attracted to, and someday they're going to be wanting to be with me, and someday I'm going to be with them. And then instead, a new player comes in, and it's this King of Wands. I feel like this comes in this week, and like in the next 7 days. And I think it's going to be a game changer for Virgo. Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands. Instead of saying, I've been waiting for a King of Swords to become my King of Pentacles, and someday, I just know it'll happen someday. I think that the big flipperoo is going to be Virgo is going to meet that King of Wands and suddenly say, maybe I'd like to be their Queen of Wands. I didn't even know that this was an option to me. I didn't know that this timeline existed. I had no idea. Universe, what is the thing that Virgo needs to be either focusing on in this next week before this even happens? Like, what is the thing that Virgo needs to be mindful of, aware of? We have the blank card, which is Virgo, the energy that you're in is the energy that you're going to be attracting. And remember, it started out with confidence and the desire for positive growth and longevity. That is exactly who Virgo is meeting. Somebody who can have great dialogue, somebody who is open-hearted, somebody who is brave enough to change their life, brave enough to, I really feel like this is going to be somebody who newly enters into Virgo's world, but it's with this confident swagger of, they've recently changed their life. They have the power and the grace and the confidence to say, oh no, I end things that aren't right for me and I go in new directions. And I feel like Virgo is that same kind of person, which might explain why if Virgo had to keep waiting for a King of Swords to one day show up in their life and become their King of Pentacles. Maybe that was never the person that would match with Virgo after all, because all I can say is, would Virgo have been delaying going after what they would want or who they would want to be with? If not, then why would Virgo be trying to match or hold space for somebody who doesn't match their energy? So I think that this is the week for Virgo to like look in the mirror and say, how do I live? Who am I? Seven of Swords, Strength card in the reverse. Am I cowardly? Am I somebody who runs from truth? Am I somebody who lies to myself? I think Virgo's going to realize, no, I'm actually not. I'm pretty raw and real with myself. I'm pretty straightforward. We have World in the reverse. It's either a week that Virgo takes a look at any unfinished business, anything that they had been fearful of, and then they just step into it again. Their confidence. That's Six of Wands. I do not think that Virgo is somebody that is fearful. I don't think Virgo is somebody that runs from things, tries to hide from repercussions from their own actions. To me, this says Virgo tends to be somebody who's like, I do what I need to do. I say what I need to say. I confidently make choices, move forward, spit it out. I am who I am. And I think if Virgo sees themselves as like, I take stuff on head on, face forward. I'm not in the habit of being afraid of like revealing myself or finding out what other people think of me or keeping secrets. I think Virgo is having that moment where they understand, I like who I am just fine. And this is my identity. I am pretty confident. I do things that are true for me. I speak with honesty and I don't really back down. I can stand by my own words. And I think that energy, if Virgo recognizes that about themselves, that could be really important for this week. Ace of Cups, Page of Wands, because Virgo is priming themselves to say, then what is it that I really want? Truth be told, I'll want the next adventure. Page of Wands, I have all kinds of things that I want to do. I've never shied away from adventures or things that I've wanted to go and experience. That is who I am. I'm an adventurer. I'm somebody who loves my life. I'm unafraid to give my heart where I feel like giving my heart. I think the reason the universe is saying, Virgo, ask yourself who you are. And now ask yourself, then what is it that I have in my life? What have I attracted? Because I think if Virgo looks around them, the things that are actually in their life are going to be things that mirror Virgo's energy. And I want to say that probably is why a King of Wands is entering into Virgo's world, because Virgo matches a King of Wands way better than Virgo would have ever matched that King of Swords, who somehow still hasn't made any changes to become Virgo's King of Pentacles. Frankly, I don't think Virgo would match with the King of Pentacles. I think this says Virgo is in their adventure era. And I don't know if Virgo has realized that. This could be the big change for this year for Virgo. Virgo could be a Queen of Wands now. Somebody that is spicy and sexy and, super confident and wanting all kinds of, additional, I don't know, just like fun, exciting twists and turns. If Virgo is more in a head and heart space of, I would like to be loved. That's the truth of it. I want adventure and I would like to have companionship and I'd like to have somebody that can, show emotion to me. I know this is now showing up as a King of Cups, but King of Cups and King of Wands are both really good at expressing that feelings, emotions, warmth. And I would just say, that's more who Virgo is. That's who Virgo's going to connect to. I don't know if Virgo's going to go out somewhere and take some photographs. They might be visiting a national park. Virgo might be curling up with a cat or a pet and, enjoy like cuddling up on a rainy day with a pet. Virgo may also be meeting somebody at either an aquarium or going to an aquarium where they have an aquarium. I think Virgo's going to be dressing in a pretty confident way, something that looks really good on them. And I really think that Virgo's going to feel this big uplift of personal power in this next week. But that King of Wands, that's changing everything. That King of Wands who comes into Virgo's life, that I think ends up being the moment that Virgo stops thinking about a King of Swords. Three of Wands, Page of Pentacles. All I see is forward motion here. That's all I see for Virgo is, yeah, I am ready for something else. My future is going to be filled with more wand energy. That conversation that Virgo has somewhere in this next week, it changes the entire outcome of certainly the next 3 days to 3 months. It may take 3 months or so before Virgo and this King of Wands are an item, but it's coming. You know what? This is beautiful, and I love the fact that it is an unexpected shift and change. Is there anything else that Virgo needs to do to herald in meeting this King of Wands? 2 of coins, 4 of coins. Virgo does need to ask himself one question. How long am I going to wait for a King of Swords? Do I really want to wait for anybody? Or universe, am I actually ready for someone who's ready for me right now? I think that blank card, I keep picturing Virgo's going to have a little sit down with themselves and say, a little Popeye storyline here, but who am I? Who am I? I'm Popeye. I feel like if you ever saw Robin Williams in the film version of Popeye, you know what I'm talking about. It's a great film. I think Virgo is not somebody who would delay and wait. I think that there's somebody bold enough to really like take life by the horns and live their best life. And I think this is the week Virgo has that, like they meet themselves. Honestly, maybe they sit down and they write it out. Maybe this is a week where Virgo says, you know what, little exercise of, this new year is, let me ask myself, who am I? Oftentimes we go, oh, I'm going to put New Year's resolutions together, but this is different. This is Virgo saying, who am I? Am I fearful? No. Am I somebody who would be shy to live my best life? Or, am I bold enough to tell somebody when I love them? Yeah, no, I have that capability. Am I somebody that, likes to adventure and, go after the things that I want in life? Well, sure. Look at what I've already done. Look at the things I've pursued in life. Okay, that's who I actually am. Then that's what I need to attract. That's what I would genuinely match with. So, holy smokes, universe, I'm sorry, I hadn't realized who I was. Now that I know who I am, now I know who I'm supposed to be with. Now I know who to invite into my life. And now when I meet that person, I can actually identify that they're a better match for me. Can I just ask one last question? Universe, is there any side note on that King of Swords who seems not to have been in the picture, but who Virgo was waiting on? Wheel of Fortune. This is the chapter where I think Virgo's, you notice how somebody's like grabbing their head. Virgo's like, oh my God, was that King of Swords never my person? Were they never right for me? Because in truth, I wasn't right for them. I did never match with them. This feels like a new door or a new thought has just opened up. Temperance. And Virgo's totally at peace with the fact that I just moved on. It's not the King of Swords that's on my mind anymore. And I'm totally okay with that. That's not where I'm supposed to end up. Oh my God. I so love this for Virgo. I love everything about this. And I think it's a really good change. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. I just want to do a quick, what's up next week kind of message. Lots of love. I will get to some more of the zodiacs, as many as I can do still tonight to prep us for next week. And then some will roll over to tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye for now. I hear you, baby.